my clock, I can't stop. Fuck around, make my 40 pop. No popcorn, I pop pistols. Reaming my body, clothing no issue. Bitch, you look sick, you need a tissue. You drop a body, I just might bless you.
What is going on, guys? It's Wraith here, back with another video. Now, I quickly want to apologize. I'm sorry I didn't upload yesterday, and I know a lot of you guys were asking me where it was. And again, I'm sorry for that. I was just finishing setting up the stream, getting sure all the overlays, all my setup, the keyboard cam, everything was working. The microphone was working because I did get a brand new microphone. If you guys can't hear it right now, I am getting a mic muffler around it, so it should sound even a little bit better after this. So hopefully it's sounding better already, but if not, it will sound a little bit better. I think tomorrow I get it like from Amazon. But yeah, so stream is completely set up in case you guys were wondering. It's like literally completely done, and I'm going on a grad event tonight. But after tomorrow, I should start streaming a good amount, like 5 days a week. The link for my Twitch is in the description below, or you can just look up WraithFN in Twitch. You can follow it now or subscribe to it now or whatever you want to do right now, just so you get notifications when I'm live. But I'm thinking of going live at 1:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow. So hopefully a lot of you guys will be able to join me, and I can play with you guys and get to know you guys. You can ask me questions, etc., etc. I'm really looking forward to it. It's always been a dream of mine to actually start streaming, so hopefully we can make that happen. But yeah, in today's video, I'm basically going to be going back over the long old video idea, and basically it's how to win more and die less. Now, obviously, winning is not as big of a factor as it was like, oh my god, I need to get my solo win, or I need to get my duo win, or whatever it is, right? So now, it's still nice winning, like in just pubs, it's pretty nice winning. Obviously in arena, it's very good to win. So these tips are just going to be going very back to the basic, but a lot of things that people forget about and don't do, like even I don't do a lot of these things, and it's just very basic stuff that you kind of need to be doing that a lot of people don't. So hopefully you guys are interested in this. If you are, make sure you hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit that like button, comment what you want to see for a future video, and let's get right into today's video. And you already know, use creator code WraithFN in the item shop. Let's get into it. Okay, so we're going to talk about early game first, just to make it kind of, we're going to talk about early game, mid game, and then end game. Again, we're sticking to very basic, no super advanced tips, just making sure you guys remember the basics, because they're so important, and a lot of people forget it, including me. Like I said, so when landing, I'm sure a lot of you guys already have your landing spots kind of picked out for arena, for pubs, whatever your kind of play style is, etc. But it's always important, you want to land somewhere that has a good amount of loot, as well as obviously if you're pubs, you want to land somewhere with maybe 1 to 2 people. Arena, obviously 0, 1 to 2, that kind of range. And so basically places like Fatal Field, Paradise, all that kind of stuff is really good, especially if it's not hot drop. Any of those places I suggest, definitely worth landing. But again, it's all kind of up to you. But basically, early game, it's super too important to remember when you can fight and when you're actually able to fight. I forget about this all the time, and the second I loot a house in Pleasant or something, I'll go push someone, which you can't really do. Like if you say you loot a house and all you get is a gray pistol, well then you're not going to be treating too much, right? Like if you only have a gray pistol, then you're probably not going to win the fight, where even if you're better than the kid and he has a combat with 50 shield, you're probably in trouble, right? Probably not going to go too well. So you got to make sure that you're ready. You got to make sure that you have the loot. So basically what my scenario is, or what I like try and do right now, is basically 200 mats. So I always want to have 200 mats. Then I want to have at least a shotgun or SMG, as well as 50 shield. I'll keep looting. Well, I sometimes forget this. Shh, don't tell anyone. I could sometimes forget it. But basically, like, my goal is to, again, have 50 shield at least, a close range weapon, either SMG or shotgun, preferably a shotgun, and 200 mats, because that way I feel like I can box, or I can build up a little bit and take height. That's what I highly suggest doing. If you're just pushing up to people and, like, getting ready for a fight, when you don't have the loot, you don't have the shield, you don't have the mats, you're not going to win most of those fights. So trust me, it's super important to calm down, take a second, look around for more loot. If you have the loot, then yes, by all means, push. Definitely, if there's a third party and you only have an AR, stay back a little bit and get some shots off from the AR, basically, right? Another thing is, if you land somewhere with a bunch of houses or like a high ground, for example, again, in Pleasant, go on top of a house, make sure you have the best scenario you can. If you're pushing someone, it becomes less of a skilled, or it becomes more of a skilled fight and less in your favor if you guys are both ramping. But if you have the high ground already and you can use that without wasting mats by using the house as your cover, then you're already at a big advantage. The last thing about early game is make sure after you clear your town or whatever happens, make sure you farm at least 750 mats in pubs and as much as you can in arena. Like if you can farm 1,500 in arena, do it. If not, farm as much as you can before moving on. Now let's move on to mid game. So when moving on to mid game, a big factor is game IQ and knowing when to take a fight and when not to take a fight. That's probably the biggest thing during mid game, and that's where people kind of fall apart. So it's very, very important to remember when the best time to take a fight is, and there's kind of three scenarios I like doing this. One is if you're rotating out of, let's say, Fatal, and you're in a pub and someone's rotating a Lucky, they probably land in Lucky because they're just going for the win, going for a low kill win, and they're probably not the most skilled player. So it's okay to shoot at that person, try and get some damage off. If you're in arenas, people land places just so they can get, obviously, more loot, and then it's less RNG based. So if you feel like it, if the zone's not on you, you're in safe zone, you need a little bit of loot or whatever the case is, shoot at them. If you don't damage them a ton, just dip. There's no point taking the fight. If you deal a lot of damage, like 60 to 70 damage, 100% push up on them. You have the advantage. They might heal by the time you get there, but just keep applying pressure, keep shooting them with your AR, SMG, or whatever it is, throw your nades, whatever the case is. Another time to third party is, or another time, well, I kind of gave it away, but another time to fight is when you third party. Third partying is huge. Trust me, that's the biggest time you want to be taking fights, is if you see two people fighting, you see that shield animation break or something, then definitely third party. Or even if you don't see the shield animation break, stay a little bit farther away, try and hit them with your AR, try and hit them with your SMG, see if you can deal some damage. If not, again, you don't have to take the fight, but if it's a third party, I recommend staying a little bit far away, try and kill them with AR, see how much you hit them for, etc., etc. Another time and another thing to remember is play the outskirts of the circle, because if you're playing right in the middle of the circle, there's a very high chance you're going to get third party, especially with these slipstreams and those little geyser things in the middle of the map. I don't know what they're called, the little buildings that you can land on and that Ghost Bizzle lands on. Anyway, sorry, getting off track a little bit. What's it called? The meta is right now is it's super easy to third party. You can always find people, always rotate on people, so it's super important to stay on the edge of the map if you want to fight. But yeah, that's basically it for mid. Like there's not too much you can go around. Again, it just comes, you don't want to be taking too many fights mid game unless you're an absolute beast and a psychopath. But yeah, that's basically it. Now let's move on to end game. Now, endgame's a whole different beast to tackle. I've had many games, or I've had many videos about endgame, so I'll just kind of briefly go over a couple tips. The first tip is spend mats taking natural high ground. A lot of people don't. A lot of people, the second they get into one of those later zones, they just box up on the outskirts. But if you want to set yourself up for the best success that you can, definitely spend the time, build into the circle or get into the circle and find that natural hill or whatever that's in the middle of the circle, because people aren't going to push you if you're on top of the hill. If they are, you can just beam them when they're building up. So it's super important to remember that if you have time, you have the mats, you have the health, then try and take that natural hill, because people won't push you. Plus, you can naturally go to the next zone pretty easily off high ground. Another thing to remember is know where everyone is if possible. Now, obviously, if you're playing arena and there's 25 people left, that's kind of hard, but you can still kind of keep track. So, for example, if you hear a heavy sniper to the right, or you see someone throwing stinks and they've thrown 2 stinks or 1 stink, they probably have more, so be aware of that. If you hear a rocket launcher to the left or to the east or whatever you want to call it, be aware of that. Probably not the best idea to go push that, because rocket launchers are not too fun to fight, right? So always keep in mind where everyone is. Try your best to know exactly where everyone is. If you're playing pubs and there's only 3 to 4 people left, try your best to know where everyone is so you can set yourself up in the best angle possible and allow yourself the best chance at winning and killing these people, or being aware of third parties, etc. And then the last tip, and this is a super important one, be first to rotate to zone. Then you can stormhold people. It's super important for pubs and arena. Be the first person to zone. Trust me, it's a super underrated thing, but be it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you smash that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, use creator code WraithFN, and again, check out my Twitch stream, and hopefully I can play with you guys and just chill with you guys all the time while streaming. And yeah, that's basically it for today's video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.